Oh, hi there. Tonight I'm making a video about the 5 types of chicks I will not go out with. The list will be different for different people for different reasons. However, okay, we'll start from the beginning. Number 5. No ugly chicks. There are many factors that can determine whether a woman is ugly or not. Usually physical appearance is one of the main reasons. They can have a little bit of extra meat on the bones, I suppose, if it's proportionately correct. Like they've got big tits or something, or a well-sculpted ass, or whatever. That can be alright. It's very situation to situation. As a male who's not been with women, that would be considered a very, very embarrassing thing if the first woman to come along was ugly. As a fellow like myself, I see myself in a certain imagery. I like to promote my low self-esteem with my hobbies and who I am as a person and how awesome I am. And, there was another character that happened to, Boba Fett, and, I actually knew a guy who was had a very similar sounding name, actually. And, yeah, he went with an ugly chick and he got stuck with her. So, that's not happening to me. And I have to be fully conscientious of that, because that would be most embarrassing. Also, their personality, and I'll get into that as a separate type of chick I would not want to go with. The authoritative kind, number 4. Sometimes it can be kind of, attractive when a woman is assertive. When they have a lot of self-respect and they're able to voice their opinions with great coherency, and they're very intellectually sound. And usually that can come along with authoritarianism. I don't want a chick who's bossing me around. There are so many things that I like because I'm a male that I cannot handle being nagged out of liking those things. And I know that's the first thing that'll happen. They'll go, "Oh, you can't like hockey because people get concussions and it's bad." And then there's, everything, not the best about hockey. And it's like, no, you're not talking me out of not liking hockey. There's the military, of course. No, you're not talking me out of that either. The thing is, when an authoritarian chick shows up and they kind of hang around for a while, I suppose, the thing is, they may be playful at first. They may put up with the things about you that they don't like, because women have this thing in their head sometimes that they think they can change a man. I don't want someone to try and talk me out of not liking my stuff and my hobbies, and basically belittling who I am as a person, because there are women out there that are like that, and they actually think that they're doing a good thing. And it's like, fuck off. I don't like you. You're pissing me off. And yeah, like I said, at first, they're playful, they're nice about it, they ignore things they don't like about you. And then as soon as the claws start to sink in, and you can't really, get away from this chick, then they get worse about it. And you have to make sure that that woman isn't going to be like that. Okay, so those are 2 types of chicks so far. Number 3, For my unique position, no colored women. At least for the time being. I'm not saying I wouldn't go with one for a little while, maybe a few months, whatever. Um, However, there are many, many irritating things they can do that would be, unpleasant. Um, for one thing, at this point in time, I am highly intolerant uh, to anti-white sentiment, and unfortunately, in today's society, there are a lot of douchebag males who are white who go along with it because they get the cooch, um, and you gotta have your own self-respect. Um, I'm not going with a black chick and then having her, bombard me with, black culture. I'm not interested. I don't care. That's not who I am as a person, and I'm not going to change for them. And I could see why that would irritate people, but, too fucking bad. And Asian women are no better. Uh, they know they're not, in full control. As I've said before, I live in Vancouver. There's a lot of Asian women here, a lot of Asian men, and all that kind of problems. And it's like, they think if they merge certain cultures into the culture of being Canadian, like they like basketball, basketball, they like football, they like, just combining all the cultures. They view culture as a different thing than white people do. I like being white. I like white guy things. That's who I am. And I think it's a different form of racism, and I have mentioned this before in another video, where it's more like a conglomeration of barbarian tribes. It's like when East Indians pretend that they're black and they listen to black music. It's not because they're being pro-race, it's because they're being anti-white. And it is every time. That is what it is. So, rather than deal with that kind of a problem right away, no colored women. I thought that I was allowed to make decisions on these kinds of things. I thought my opinion mattered, but I guess it doesn't if you're a Canadian. It only matters if you have an anti-white opinion. Okay. So that's 3. We've got 2 more to go. Okay. No older women. They always have baggage. Ex-boyfriends that they're still friends with, girlfriends that you're not gonna like. Because guess what? A woman can have, friends that are women that are total bitches. And sometimes women get it in their head that, they'll let a fellow like myself go with the other women, and that makes it even. No, it doesn't, because you picked him out, and that it's not on par. And when I say older women, I mean women who are even my age, too old. I've said it before, I'm looking for a chick who's in her mid-20s to late 20s. That is my ideal range. It's one of them things. I don't want to deal with someone else's baggage. And they've usually had the time to develop their psychology because they've been through a few guys. And they learn how men act to certain things, and they relive certain aspects of what it's like to go on dates and be in a relationship. And that gives them an unfair advantage to a guy like me because I don't have any experience dating, or anything real anyway. And so I don't even want to go with a chick who's 33 years old. She's got to be younger than that. And it's not because I want the psychological advantage. It's because I don't want to put up with the baggage. That's the big reason. And this kind of goes on, not that I think that way, but for some people they may go, well, that leads towards the ugly track. And it kind of does, because women tend to be less attractive as they get older. 30 really is like, that's the cutoff line for a guy like me. Not over 30. Don't want the baggage. Don't want the bullshit. Don't want the inferior quality of product. And I can be a chauvinistic pig about that whole thing because of what happened to me and how I've not been able to have normal relationships or have a normal social life because of people who are assholes. And this leads to number one. The number one chick that me, myself, and probably a whole lot of other people who are in my situation should avoid. And for lack of a better term for it, it would be the Black Widow. Which is similar to the authoritarian chick, but you know, a chick can be authoritarian but not be a Black Widow. It's a bit of a conundrum there. However, usually they do fall hand in hand. So maybe there's only four types of chicks reason. But anyway, the Black Widow. Basically, there are women out there that are witches, and they're selfish. They want a guy like me all for themselves. So they think they can enter the picture, and because I was an ex-mental health patient, they will say, oh, this is all a delusion. You don't know what you're talking about. Nobody watches your YouTube channel. Look at how... because they'll belittle, and this does fall along with authoritarianism as well. They'll belittle your personality in such a caring way, but they're still belittling your personality. For me, I try to work out, and the inspiration for this video is actually Alpha M, and he's got the right mindset on this sort of topic. So I work out. Should probably go on a fruit fast for a few weeks and see how that goes. I'd probably shed a few pounds. Ideally, I'd weigh 20 pounds less. But anyway, and it's all about breaking the personality. And I know they're out there like that. And sure, the sex is probably very good. However, I can't handle a woman coming into the picture and having a completely different side to her personality that I don't know anything about. That would be creepy. And you have no idea what kind of deals they'd be making to be in said position, where they're the only chick I go with. And a lot of it I would not like. And I would really, really hate it if the obsessive-compulsive component went into overdrive and there'd be no discussion about certain things, or there'd be penalties or something like that of that nature. I don't know. There's a whole wide, long list of reasons why that would be a bad thing. I'm not worried about any of that because that would imply that women are smarter than me, and they're not. I'm a white male. I'm smarter than them. And certainly not as, because let's face facts, the women that are encircling this YouTube channel, most of them have been total bitches, slags. And all the horrible things you could call women. And, you know, some of them are ugly, but some of them are attractive, but what they're doing is ugly. And I don't like it when chicks go around and essentially scare off the women of, you know, younger age, and or dissuade them from being interested in said male as myself, because that's what they do. They do that all the time. I know this for a fact. I've had to live this type of lifestyle for way too long. And rest assured, when a chick it does show up, if she starts to criticize me saying, oh, your YouTube channel's not working, you have to give up on all your dreams, blah, 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 this, that, and the other, I'm gonna let her know I don't respect her intelligence. It's one of them things, you know. I know eventually this curse that's befilled me is going to be lifted. I couldn't say when or where, because I don't know. But I am physically getting stronger, and I am placing myself in a better position. So I'm not concerned in the long run, but, you know, things could be better, obviously. And I have to sift through all the different sorts of women that I don't like. And I don't even want to know their names or anything about them. And I don't care about their stories. And I don't care about the bickering that they've had with probably other women. And I suppose I will have to pay attention if their previous boyfriends come around and think that they have the pretext to do something against me that I wouldn't like because I blew off their women. I know this sounds like, you know, an absurd topic for somebody who doesn't get action, but I am not crawling on my hands and knees to get a chick. It's not happening. Chick's interested, I have the opportunity, she's got everything going for her. Sure. Awesome. Perfect. However, that's would be living in a perfect world, and we do not live in a perfect world. And there are many things I have to take into consideration. And believe you me, if I find someone who's being obsessive compulsive and starts lying and getting mad when I question him about things, I mean, I'm not going to be a jerk about it, but I am going to go, you're being a bitch, and I know it. Because I have to have my standards, because I want to kind of have a more respectable sex life, Is it so much to ask? Well, anyway, that was my top 5 list. Feel free to leave comments in the section if you wish, and I will talk to people later. Anyway, have a good day or something.